If you don't mind sharing with people, how were you self-harming?
I was cutting myself with scissors. I didn't want to kill myself. I wanted to get the help that I wanted because I didn't want to feel like the way I did back then.
You know, I know obviously you see it as this now as well, but it's known as that cry for help, isn't it?
It was quite a while ago when my little sister died. In 2020, I lost my granddad and then I lost my nan a few months after it. Honestly, it felt really shitty. Didn't feel good about myself. I wanted to I don't know how to word it, end my life. Because I just didn't know how to cope without them, because I grew a bond with my granddad that I'd never had with anyone else. It obviously hurt and I regret every minute of it, but back then it felt so good. It was just a massive weight lifted off my shoulders because I'd had loads of pressure.
Yeah, because you're doing something about that feeling.
Yeah.
What would you advise them to do if they feel anything along the lines of what you used to feel?
Honestly, I'd want them to get help, want them to tell their parents, go and get the help they need, because it's the best thing is getting help, so you don't feel the way you feel anymore.
What would you say training's done for you?
I've started building bonds with everyone here, you. I have a very strong bond with you now.
Yeah.
Kat, strong bond with him. Pretty much all of them, to be honest. They're all great people. And then to now...
Oh, you deadlifted. What were you deadlifted?
72.5 kilos.
There you go. It's not about the weight, right? But let's be honest. Just to be in the gym, lifting weights, enjoying it, and being confident, and obviously even being confident to sit here and do this, because I know you wouldn't have before.
No.
But, all those things. It does make me proud to look at you in that respect, because it's nice to know that you're surrounding yourself with people that are here to help you and pick you up, sort of thing.
I know that when I trained with Chloe Brennan, I wouldn't have known half the stuff that I know now if I didn't do it with her.
Abby, welcome to The Line Mind. For the listeners, and just to paint a picture of exactly what this podcast or short podcast is about today.
Yeah.
So Abby is daughter of Rich, one of my athletes. And on a podcast a while ago, if you haven't watched the podcast, make sure you go and watch it. But it's the podcast with Richard Bellfield, where we dug deep into his struggles, his life, and what motivates him and how he's become so strong at if you want to call an older age, that he started strongman. There's lots of good things there, and obviously he opened out about Abby, and Abby has asked to share her story after quite a lot of conversations that we've had. And I thought I'd give the opportunity to this because it is amazing. Because Abby, you are how old?
14, nearly 15.
Nearly 15 in the next couple of weeks, isn't it? And I honestly mean it, and I just want to paint this picture before we start, right? And for anyone listening, it's amazing that you want to share your story and open up and be so honest, and let's be honest, be vulnerable. Because there's a lot of people in this day and age that hide things, suffer, and become, in a position that they didn't ever think they'd be in, and then don't find them, they don't understand how they got there, or, do you know what I'm trying to say? So I think the one thing I want to start off with, first of all, is obviously you at quite a young age was... I'll let you obviously say the story, but you was struggling mentally, weren't you? Just tell us a little bit about how old were you when you started to sort of struggle mentally?
Well, it was quite a while ago when my little sister died. Obviously struggled a lot with that because, really wanted to meet her, but things change. You can't always have everything you want.
So how old was you when your sister died?
Actually not sure. It was I actually don't know when it was. I don't like remembering dates. But in 2020, I lost my granddad, and then I lost my nan a few months after it. And then I felt really honestly, it felt really shitty. It didn't feel good about myself. I wanted to I don't know how to word it, end my life. Because I just didn't know how to cope without them, because I grew a bond with my granddad that I'd never had with anyone else. It's because when I was little, I wasn't really keen of my dad. Wasn't the best person to communicate with my dad, and I obviously went to my granddad more. And my sister was in and out of hospital. I'd always stay with my grandma and granddad, or my nan would come down and stay with us because they lived in Sutton and Ashfield, so they had to come back to look after me. And so I built like a really strong connection with like all of them, and then when I lost them, it's like a piece of me just kind of left. Like, it honestly felt really bad. Like, didn't know how to react, so I like was self-harming and everything because I didn't know how to respond to it, because I wasn't ready to accept the fact that they died. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. The thing is, you're very forward for your age, and you are very, you know, smart with understanding all these things. But when you look back now, I mean, obviously you understand that's a lot for a young person to go through, right?
Yeah, it was a lot. Like, I wasn't at school a lot. I was coming home all the time. It's like I missed a long time at school to like where my attendance was at like 40 something, which obviously wasn't good because, you know, gotta keep my education up.
Yeah, of course. But at the same time, you know, something that I want to add there is you weren't equipped to understand what to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's something that, you know, it doesn't matter what your age is. We all get to a point where we just don't know how to handle that situation.
Yeah.
You know, and what stopped you speaking to people? How did you? Do you know what I mean? Like, how did you feel about that sort of stuff?
I was scared on how they'd react, so I just kept it to myself. Like, I was very, like, just in my room all the time. Like, I wasn't going anywhere else. Like, I just want to be by myself. And then I know, like, most nights, I think I'd honestly cry myself to sleep. I'd wake up, or I just wouldn't sleep at all. And then I'd be going to school off of either no sleep or, like, 4 hours of sleep, which wasn't good because I was, like, almost falling asleep every day.
No, of course. Yeah.
And
obviously, you know that's not a way. You know, it's not the way to live, is it? But at the same time, at the time, you don't know any different, do you? Because it's what, you know. At the end of the day, it's a survival thing that we do.
Yeah,
you know, and that's
just kind of felt so physically drained. I didn't know what to do with my life. Like, I was in a very tough place. So obviously, I'm very happy to where I am now, because honestly, I don't think without the support I've gotten, without coming gym and everything, like, I don't think I'd be here today. Like, not literally, like, you know.
Yeah, I get it. The thing is, it's scary, isn't it? Because you don't know where you would have been, or you don't know what would have happened.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, it's the unknown, but that's the unknown we all have, because, you know, no matter, you can only talk about a story that you've made the end of the story, right? When you've made the end of the story, so
Yeah.
you know, without knowing what was going to happen, for example, or which way you was going to go in life, you know, you have to think about now compared to where you were then to now. Like, what's different for you? What would you say you've put in place that's helped you?
I had therapists and counsellors, which made it easier for me because I finally was able to open up about it and I wasn't keeping it to myself. And it honestly felt like a massive weight had been lifted off my shoulders, because I think the first therapist I had, I was seeing her like every week for like a couple months. So, like, honestly felt them months were honestly like 2 of the best months of my life, because
and that's just because you're talking, right? And you're getting
yeah,
off your
just
chest.
because I was just getting off my chest, because I'd obviously like bottled it up for too long, where I
was
just
just
needed
about
to get it
to use
out.
the exact same word. I was just about to say that's where that term "bottling it up" comes from, isn't it? You know, and you've heard that before because you've just said it yourself. But it's that whole, it's that thought of it, isn't it? Like, bottling things up. The bottle only has X amount of space.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And when it gets to the top, it's like it feels like it's going to explode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
but I think you speaking out was you was able to then obviously get rid of some of that.
I was able to get the help that I needed, which obviously helped a lot in a way, because I was very to myself. Like, I wasn't good with talking to my friends about it. I wasn't good with talking to my family about it. Literally no one knew. And then obviously when I had my therapist, I was able to talk to more people about it. I was able to get it off my chest, which helped because I think the bottling it up part, it made it so much harder for me to cope, which I know a lot of people go through that. Like, and I think the best way that I got the help was because I told my parents eventually. Well, I didn't tell them, the school told them, but I actually got the help I needed because I went to hospital for it.
Yeah.
Because I was in the hospital for a couple of hours waiting to be seen by CAMS. So I got referred to CAMS, and then that's when they told me that it was like more of ADHD. So I've had tests done for ADHD, still not got them back, but we're pretty much sure I've got it. But like they said to my dad, they were like, she doesn't want to do it. You can see in her face that she doesn't want to do it. It's just for help. Because obviously I didn't actually want to kill myself. That was so out. That was like so forward. I didn't want to kill myself. I wanted to get the help that I wanted because I didn't want to feel like the way I did back then. So,
But it's known as that, you know, I know obviously you see it as this now as well, but it's known as that cry for help, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think back then, did you know you was crying out for help? Or, do you know what I mean? What were you thinking that was happening for? Because just so, if you don't mind sharing with people, how were you self-harming?
How?
Yeah.
I was cutting myself with scissors. And then when my parents found out that I wanted to like stab myself because they knew exactly how I wanted to kill myself, when they found that out, I had to be supervised and I wasn't allowed in the kitchen on my own. All the sharp objects got taken out of my bedroom because I wasn't trusted. And then after when I was trusted, I started cutting myself. Not because I wanted to injure myself, it's because it was for a relief. It was like taken off, like it obviously hurt and I regret every minute of it, but back then it felt so good. Like it was just a massive weight lifted off my shoulders because I'd like had loads of pressure.
Yeah, because you're doing something about that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's like my dad found out from my sister most of the time, which obviously I was very mad at her at the time for, but obviously love her. And I'm very happy that she told them because then I wouldn't have gotten the help. And then
of course.
My dad found out once when I was doing the washing up. Loved that day. Because I obviously didn't tell him. He saw it and then I had to go to the doctors again to get more help. And then I got tablets for insomnia because I couldn't sleep. I was up all the time. Still like that now. I still have to take these tablets. But like after taking them, I actually got sleep and I wasn't so drained every day. Like I
so
felt,
you've seen the benefits of that, yeah?
Yeah. Like I think getting help was honestly the best thing that happened to me. Like without the help, I don't know where I'd be right now, but certainly wouldn't be here.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like all the people around you love you and trying to help you.
Yeah.
You know, and you should never feel bad for what you did because, again, you're not at that point equipped to know what to do. You know, and that is just life. It's the trauma. Ultimately, it's trauma, right? You went through the trauma of losing your sister, your
My great-granddad.
Granddad, then your grandma. Was it that order?
I think it was my great-granddad.
Yeah.
Then my sister, then my granddad,
Yeah.
and then my nan, and then my great-grandma.
Yeah.
Like, I've pretty much just grown up with that.
Yeah. And you see, like, Jesus, as adults, you struggle and go downhill. And do you know what I mean? All sorts happens when people die.
Wait, and then after my great-grandma, who was my cousin, he ended up taking his own life.
Wow. How did that make you feel to hear that?
I was in bits. I didn't know him very well, but still family, so it still hurt.
How old was he, if you don't mind?
I don't know.
No?
But it was a hard time for my aunt, so I remember hugging my grandma, my aunt, and her just breaking down in my arms. And honestly, it felt so like upsetting to me, because having someone you love so much die, and then having their mum break down in your arms, just it wasn't fun. But obviously she's feeling better now. Very glad she's feeling better now, because, you know, don't want her to feel like I did back then.
No, of course. What would you say is something that you would, let's say, advise other people, let's say children, because that's your sort of like area, like, what would you advise them to do if they feel anything along the lines of what you used to feel?
Honestly, I'd want them to get help, want them to tell their parents, go and get the help they need, because it's the best thing is getting help. So you don't feel the way you feel anymore. It's like, just get the help. It'll help, like, a lot. I said help so many times. But, like, just tell your parents they're struggling, so they can inform the school, so they know. And then if anything happens from there, then honestly, go to the doctors, tell them about it, go to your GP.
Yeah. And then one of the things you've done, which is obviously played a huge part later on in your journey, started training at Serious Strength Gym.
Yes.
And what would you say training's done for you? Because when you came here, let me just add, when you first walked in the door, and I know you won't mind me saying this because we spoke about this already, but you wouldn't look really people in the eyes or anything, would you? It was very like timid and very...
It was like a split second, I'd look at them.
Yeah,
I'd look away.
you were just very nervous, weren't you? Very anxious and very like... Yeah, but that's why, you know, initially when, you know, your dad spoke to me about, can you do it? I was like, yeah, like, it's the best thing, like, you know, for anybody to want to have to feel a purpose and to get confident. But what, how did you feel from day one to, let's say, now?
Day one. Damn, that feels like such a long time ago.
No, day one of training though, like, as in, like,
yeah,
do you know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you mean.
But you know, like, thinking about, because obviously, did you feel anxious, nervous, and all them sort of things? Because you...
Yeah, because it was a new, like, environment.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't used to it. And then, partway through my little journey, I've started building bonds with everyone here. Like you. I have a very strong bond with you now.
Yeah.
Like, Kat, strong bond with him. Pretty much like all of them, to be honest. They're all great people. And then, like, to now...
Oh, you deadlifted. What have you deadlifted? What have you lifted so far? I can't remember now.
72.5 kilos.
There you go. But you know, I mean, it's not about the weight, right? But let's be honest. Just to be in the gym, lifting weights, enjoying it, and being confident, and obviously even being confident to sit here and do this, because I know you wouldn't have before.
No.
But, you know, all those things. It does make me proud to look at you in that respect, because it's, you know, it's nice to know that it's not cost anything to get here. And I don't mean money, I mean as in, like, you know, energy and everything. Like, you know, we're just doing the thing that we do, right? And that obviously what we do here, and you're surrounding yourself with people that are, you know, here to help you and pick you up, sort of thing. And obviously it's paid off massively to you and how you are now, hasn't it?
I know that when I trained with Chloe Brennan, like, I wouldn't have known half the stuff that I know now if I didn't do it with her.
Yeah.
Like, she's such a big help. She's such a big inspiration.
And also, let's be honest, she's a girl, so you're going to look up to her and be like, I want to be like you. And she's just come third at Worlds as well. I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah, no, I texted her on Instagram, same one.
But yeah, but no, that's the thing, is it? Like, looking up to her and or other people, it's like...
Definitely the big inspiration.
Yeah.
Definitely someone I look up to. It's like one of my heroes. It's like you are.
You can be in her shoes one day. That's or your own shoes, or your own version of hers. But so you know, with the training side of things, and again, I'm trying to help other people if they're ever you know, again, like young girls or boys that are maybe in a position where they feel a little bit lost, you know, confused. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that sort of thing. What do you feel the gym has done for you to help with that side of life?
It's made me feel so much more confident. Like, I'm a lot more confident than I was back then. Like, now I can talk to people. I can, like, have a conversation with people. Like, I'm not as anxious as I was. It's just made me feel so much more confident in the way that I feel like I look and the way that I act. Feels really good.
Yeah. And do you feel like, because the way I always look at, like, again, lifting weights and training, right? You're exerting your body, you're pushing your body, yeah? And you're mentally, obviously, one day you can't do something, the next day you can, yeah? So you're from the repetition that you're doing, you're progressing yourself on, and that's what builds confidence. And that's something that, do you feel like that's something you've now got into, you know, to understand how to lift and what to do? Do you know what I mean? Because that, for me, the big thing I always think about, that gives you that focus to be like, to get better at this, I need to do this. And it gives you more of a purpose, doesn't it? Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I think with, like, you know, like, let's just pick a movement. With the deadlift, like, we were going through movement patterns and things like that.
Yeah.
When it then clicks and it moves better, it gives you that, like, confidence, doesn't it? To be like, I can lift better now. You know, and I'll keep saying it because it's true. It's not about how much you lift, because it's not about lifting heavy. It's about enjoying it and doing it and feeling like you know.
It's like about how you lift it as well, because you don't want to injure yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, technique and progressing your movement on and everything. But no, I really appreciate you obviously talking today, and I know it will help a lot of people have that confidence to, one, speak to people.
Yeah.
Two, hopefully, you know, get into some form of training. It doesn't need to be at the gym. It could be
just at home.
Yeah, it could be at home, body weight.
Like,
it could be running, anything.
Yeah. I used to go on runs.
Yeah, do you like running or?
We did.
Yeah.
I don't anymore, because I used to get up early to do it, and
not your thing.
No.
But you found love to the gym, so it's right. You can still run as well. But no, what message do you want to leave this podcast with? Like, if you can, you know, you might have already said it, so it's completely fine if you already have. But do you know what I mean? What message do you want to leave for people to try and inspire people to move forward the way you have? I completely put it on the spot.
Yeah, you have a bit. Love yourself for who you are. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Yeah.
You are your own person. Listen to what you say.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Well, look, I appreciate it a lot. And thank you very much for sharing it. And we'll continue the journey together.